Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in this great big universe. My name is Helena. Thank you so much for joining us for Love Unlocked, where we decode the mysteries of the universe. Today, we have a very special guest back by popular demand, Cynthia, to discuss Dolores Cannon, the three ways of volunteers, the new earth, and most importantly, Twin Flame Synchronicity. Has it ever happened to you? Have you ever experienced it? Is it something that you see? And what are they? Let me know in the comments down below what you guys have experienced. Excuse me. I should probably edit that out, but I don't edit anything. So I wanted to thank you guys for watching our previous video first before we get started, because the video that we did with Cynthia before, where we discussed Dolores Cannon, the new earth, and the three waves of volunteers, went over 1,000 views in just 48 hours. And that would not have been possible to get that message out to people if it weren't for you guys. So thank you so much. And if you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for tuning in today. And if this video inspires you, I'm hoping that you'll be inspired to go ahead, hit like, subscribe, and become a member of our online YouTube community. So without further ado, let's go ahead and invite Cynthia in. As you can see, the lights are already acting funny. There's a reason, and she is going to explain it as to why. Hey, Cynthia, thank you so much for being here. Are you there? She's here.
I'm here.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you so much for being here. I was just letting the viewers know that the last time you were here, the message was able to really get out because the video hit over 1,000 views in only 48 hours, which is almost unheard of, especially for a tiny YouTube channel like mine. So people really are excited to hear what you have to say. And thank you so much for being here. So, excuse me. There we go. So when I was doing my intro and I was saying hi, I was telling everybody, can you see the lights change? The light was acting wonky. So do you want to let the viewers know exactly who's behind that wonky lighting? Because it's not us.
Oh no, that's my husband. He just likes to play with the lighting. Oh my goodness, I can see it. Hello, honey. I never know what his antics, what he's doing. But obviously he's shining some light on you, Helena.
Thank you. Yeah, he certainly is. He is. There it goes again. And I brought another stationary light, which is in front of me so that we could have light, because I don't know if you guys can tell, but it's really dark out where I am. And the light is right in front of me. So there should be no, and there it stopped. He heard us talking about it.
That's what he does. There are a couple of other people that will give testimony to that whenever we talk, when we video conference, either static comes in, or if there's any negative talk, he'll cut the conversation short because no negativity. So
yeah,
we can't even have girl talk. So
you have to say, hey, Joe, it's girl time. So
yeah.
One of the things I wanted to do real quick was recap. Who is Dolores Cannon? What is the new earth? And who are the three waves of volunteers?
Okay. Who is Dolores Cannon? She was a QHHT therapist. She just did quantum healing hypnosis therapy, and she stumbled upon the same story with thousands of hypnotherapy clients as she was digging into their superconscious, as she described it. They all had the same thing to say. And what was the next question?
Oh, sorry. The new earth.
The new earth, you know, I've gotten a lot of comments about this, and it's not a place, it's a frequency. So I'm looking at your lights and laughing.
Yeah, I just felt like got a little bit in here.
That might be a validation.
Okay. Yeah. Because he likes to manipulate things. Yeah. He manipulates the electronics around here. Now, we do have an outside light that sometimes comes on and off, but as you can see, it's been on this whole time. So we're getting a confirmation from the other side of the veil, which doesn't really exist. when you really think about it.
That is so the point, because it's a frequency. It's if you change radio stations on your radio, old-fashioned radio stations, the way we used to do it, not just digital stuff, that type of thing, you get static.
Mm-hmm.
And I was actually able at one point earlier in my life to see through these dimensions. And, that was stopped by medication, actually. But yeah, I could actually see your chair will vibrate, whatever you're sitting on actually vibrates.
Mm-hmm.
It vibrates at a certain frequency, so it becomes solid to us. I was actually able to see through that. And I was actually able to see the chair, or actually it was a desk. The molecules just spread apart, and I dropped a television. So
I remember you telling me that.
yeah. So basically that's what I was actually caught between dimensions, as a lot of people are.
Mm-hmm.
So thankfully, that's being remedied, because since 2003, our Earth, the frequency of the Earth has been rising to adjust to 5D frequency. And that's where our loved ones are. And that's where my honey is. This is what he gave me. Can you see it?
It's appearing and disappearing because of the zoom. I see. That's the rose?
Yeah, so this is actually, I'd like to give Amelia, if she's watching this, I've been in contact with her. She just lost her twin to spirit. We know we don't actually lose them. They're just vibrating at a different frequency than we are. And my guy makes sure that I get a message no matter what he has to do. And I saw an accidental medium a few months ago, and she just ran up to me and said, "Oh my God, I'm a medium and I have something for you." And she pulled out my vial of crushed roses that he had given to me a few years ago. So there's hope. This is what I'm trying to convey. There's hope. And what was your last?
Cynthia is a medium magnet. Mediums are drawn to her like bees to honey, or flies to honey. Bees to honey? I think it's bees make honey, so they're probably not drawn to it. Flies to honey, people to honey. Cynthia is like a magnet. Her frequency seems to attract that. And so that is one of my big questions that I would like to start out with, if it's okay. We see synchronicity. We see it everywhere. There are people that see numbers. Some people see names. Other people see songs, or even someone who looks a lot like their twin flame. And they feel like there might be a universal message in those synchronicities. So the question for Cynthia is, what are these synchronicities? Are they just common little happenstance? Maybe we're just coincidences we're happening across and everybody else sees them too, and it's no big deal? Or is the universe talking to us? And more importantly, are we listening?
That's a good one. Synchronicities are winks for the universe. That's what I like to see them as. And they're usually, I'm going to emphasize that, because a lot of us put a lot of emphasis on, oh, I saw another repeating number pattern like 111.
That was me a few years ago.
Yeah, well, your email address has 111 in it. And
yeah,
that was I didn't have your email address before. And I said, oh my Lord, there's another one. But to me, they're like our guides that are sending us little messages. Now, for somebody like me who gets synchronicities from Joe, they're much different. They're not repeated number patterns. They're specific to us.
Okay.
So, but the veil is thinning. And this is why so many people are seeing so many more synchronicities. We're actually coming into balance with, I call it anchoring into 5D. So that's what's happening.
Thank you. So if somebody sees a synchronicity and maybe they're in separation from their twin flame, should they interpret that? You're kidding me. Not to interrupt myself, because I do go off on tangents, but my light just went out.
Okay, that's new.
Yeah, I remember I told you a second ago that I had, it's back on. That's off.
This is fun.
This is nuts. I don't understand this.
Don't try to. I don't try to anymore. It's just like, what do you have for me? Give it, and I actually become bored.
That light
because
has been working for so, like, there's nothing wrong. We don't use it all that often,
yeah,
and I don't understand. And I had emphasize on had one of these portable, this is not sponsored video, great ring light by Soar. And you clip it, it clips onto things. So you can clip it onto your phone, you can clip it onto your computer. And as you can see, it went out.
that's I wanted to buy one of those too.
Really? Yeah, well,
Don't buy that. Well, unless Joe snuffs it out, which he would do. So
had
yeah,
no battery in it. It was fine.
funny. That is too funny. You see how my life can be so exciting when I think it's so dull. It's not. No. And now yours is not going to be dull anymore. That guy is too much fun.
Yeah, I think I just told you earlier today, there's our light again. Yeah, he's like redecorating with light. So with Twin Flames,
that too. Decorating with light.
It's really strange how he does that.
Think about light.
Spirit, the energy, the frequency is manipulating things. And technically, I guess that could be a synchronicity, right?
I'm sorry?
It could be a synchronicity, like confirmation.
It's a confirmation, but it's also, because I can hear him too, it's love and light. That's what we're supposed to be spreading, love and light. So that's the
beautiful.
Yeah.
So why do you say you're a twin soul rather than a twin flame?
This is what I wanted to ask you about too, because I think we may have different interpretations or not. He didn't refer to me as his twin soul. He referred to me as his mirrored soul. Okay. This was here when we first started our website. He didn't say twin flame until this year, when I had been watching a YouTube video and it was about the reincarnation of twin flames. And that person that I ran into that gave me the roses that was confirmation for me that he was watching the video with me. So twin flames, from what I'm reading, twin flames seem to be more common online than what Joe and I went through.
Yeah.
So it was my mirror. So when I walked into his house the first time I was invited there, it was like walking into my own. And everything in his cupboards were the same as mine. The clothes in his closet, same color as mine. The cuts on his hands, same as mine at that time. His idiosyncrasies, same as mine. And I said, I got to run away because this is spooky. But I didn't. I said, let it go, and the more we learned about each other, we learned about our telepathic connection, and that just grew. And now look at where we are now.
Mirrored souls. So yeah. I have there. So yeah, so he just turned off the light. If I didn't know better, I would think somebody was playing a trick on me. I'm almost waiting for, I know I'm alone in here.
Oh, but you're never alone. That's the thing, because our loved ones vibrate at a certain frequency, a different frequency. They're always there. I can't see him. If I did, I would be distracted.
That makes sense.
Yeah, but we're never alone. We just think we are. Yeah. Oh boy. Yeah. Validation. Here we go.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys could see that. My light just popped back on. And this is a really good note to Helena. Make mental note. Figure out how to do the split screen so that your viewers can see this weird light thing going on and see these confirmations.
I'm new to it too. Go ahead.
One thing that I wanted to ask that I think the viewers are really excited about hearing, and they must be because there is my light flashing again, is what is the criteria you identify for being a twin soul? Specifically, like if somebody says, I think I've met my twin flame, what would they look for?
I would actually say at this point, check into frequency. But if they're your mirror, like many of the people that we work with are, that were like I just described a couple of minutes ago, if they are your mirror, if you're meeting yourself in another body, there is your first clue. where I've seen a lot of twin flame narratives where there a lot of dysfunction is going on. I don't resonate with that as a twin. However, everyone's journey is totally different, so I really can't judge. Yeah, but for us, yeah, he's my mirror. It was just, we didn't even have to talk at the dinner table. So it was like, what are you having for dinner? I would articulate that, but he would tell me exactly what I was thinking. So, you know, that was us.
So would that be considered almost like a twin flame telepathy?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of viewers experience this kind of strange, unexplainable, energetic exchange with their twin flame or mirrored soul, and they can't figure it out. And maybe it scares some people, and maybe people are a little bit, at least people that I've talked to, are a little bit nervous about acknowledging that because they're not sure how their twin flame or twin soul, mirrored soul will respond to that. But they're experiencing it too.
Yeah, a lot of people are experiencing it, especially now because of the frequency of love that is needed to help to attain 5D frequency and then sustain it. So we know, depending on the age group and the amount of technology that's being used, many of us, like Joe and myself, we were into technology. You know, we have our cell phones, we had our computers, but we knew about each other as children. So we were having conversations when we were children. These are little breadcrumbs that like, who's that person that I was talking to last night? Even now, I wake myself up talking to him. But back then it was, who was that person? And there was a part of me, and other people will be able to chime in on this too. Missing, that person was missing. So I would look into the eyes of everyone I met to the point that I would creep them out. Like, are you that person? But I didn't know I was doing it on an unconscious level until I met him, and I went, oh, no, it's you. So the telepathy is always there. We're always united in 5D. This is the illusion. This is the illusion. So the more technology we use, the less we're able to hear them. And I'm living proof. It's like, I can't hear you right now, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like a divine confirmation of what you're experiencing, which brings me to another question. How do you know, medium magnet that you are, how do you know who your soul group is?
That one has been revealed to me in hindsight. Your soul group can be your family, you know, your immediate family. But I learned more about my soul group actually with the number 111. That started
it. Synchronicity.
It was a number synchronicity. It's also my friend's, you know, one of her angel numbers, as she calls it. We all moved into a building together, and this building was for, you know, people that were homeless, basically. And everyone there had a gift that I noticed is, what is going on? And the house was haunted. So there were certain people in that house that, you know, we would wake up and the doors would be open, blah, and all that. So that was my first realization. This is recent, within the past year. I went, now we're all coming together. We separated. Now, not to be confused with twin flame separation. We moved out of that building, and all of a sudden they started coming back in. And one person, my 111 girl, she actually saw Joe open the door when I entered her home one day. This is after Joe's passing. And I started to notice a pattern. And then another couple, I've mentioned that I woke up next to a woman's husband in the hospital last year. He had a traumatic brain injury. He was my neighbor too. And I said, what did you see in the hospital? And he just came into his abilities last year, struggling a little bit with them because he just lost his twin and his wife. So he lost her 2 weeks ago. But that's being taken care of. But yeah, he could see Joe standing outside my room. And so what I came to learn was, wow, we were placed in this building for a reason. This was all pre-planned, predetermined. So that was the start of my identifying my soul group. Everybody will have a different one. And then I was introduced to people like you on Quora. They're just people that it's like, hey, talk to that person, or I can actually tell by their energy. So yeah. So if it's like high vibe like you, it's like, oh, we're part of the same soul group too. My friend in England, I said, you're my daughter from another life. I said, we're too close, and so we have fun with that. So it grows and grows and grows, but you don't know on a conscious level who they are until you start a dialogue with them. Or with me, I've been getting bombarded with Dolores Cannon videos by everybody that is in my little group. And I think I sent one to you the other day that was sent to me in April. And my friend who just recently passed away, she sent me a Dolores Cannon video. And I said, there are no coincidences. Don't even think that there are. Everything's pre-planned, just breadcrumbs to help us get home.
That is a wonderful way of putting it. Everything is predestined. Everything is preordained. There are synchronicities, which are breadcrumbs to lead us home. And another question that I have for you, if you don't mind answering that, what is defined as a spiritual awakening? Is it just a series of events that happen that we notice? And is it different than a Kundalini awakening? How do we define a spiritual awakening?
Well, I think they'd be different for everybody. I will say that. But for me, and not knowing that Joe and I were living parallel lives at the time, I was going through a lot of trauma, and with my ex-husband, and I found myself leaving my body. And I said, what was that? And as I jumped back in, and after that, it was like everything started to change around me. People will be like, they'll explain that they were like slain in the spirit. I've heard that before. That can be compared to a Kundalini awakening. For me, Kundalini awakening, I was sitting right here because this is where Joe passed, where I'm sitting right now. I think when he passed the first time, I was just bathed in love. I was sitting here one day and I was just bathed in love. And that's what brought me to Quora. I said, what was that? And I needed answers. I didn't need to find out who my twin flame was, what a twin flame was. I wanted to know what was that happened to me, because it felt like God poured all over me. And so I found out later it could be my heart chakra opening. And yeah, things have never been the same since. But everybody went for that.
Everybody's going to have a different experience, but that must have been incredibly intense and profound and confusing. And thank you for sharing that, Cynthia, because thank you. That's going to help a lot of people.
And then I had a few more. That's when I started astral projecting after that experience.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Oh my goodness. Evidently, that's what I was doing a few years ago before I met Joe, when I left my body. My soul just said, enough, it's too much stress, left the body for a few seconds. And when that happened to me, I found myself going, just little nudges, like you did when you went to the grocery store the other day. It was like, let me go here, let me go there. And I went to the bedroom and I started meditating, and it felt as though a portal opened. My whole body filled with electricity. It felt like a portal opened, and I could see Joe laying right next to me, and he was talking to me. So I assume I attained 5D frequency, but not for very long. And I said to him, I can feel your body. I can feel the hair on your arms. This is so confusing. So this was 3 years ago. And we had been doing that, for about 2 years, up until last June anyway. It was more intense. And he's crazy when I go into these little trances, I'll call them, because other people have experienced this. It feels as though he's dragging me around the house by my ankles. I'm laughing so hard that my stomach hurts. And then I wake up in my bed. And well, that was fun. But I always wake up very overjoyed and filled with love. So it's been fun. Yeah. So that's my
Thank you for
experience.
sharing that.
Yes.
Can something like that, sorry, can something like that ever happen with people who are not twin souls or mirror souls? Can
Yeah.
they experience that? Because the reason I'm asking is because when I was just obsessed with a guy who I thought was my twin flame, it's an old relationship, I would have these experiences where I would feel him, at least I thought it was him, touching me, like on my arm. And I thought, well, that's weird. You know, am I having like tactile hallucinations? What's going on?
Oh, you're astral projecting. Yep. Yeah. That can be, now this is arguable that it's like in 4D, 5D. I don't like to say that because that can just create, no, you're wrong, create an argument.
Right.
You were eating in a different dimension. So obviously you are very gifted, my friend.
You're very sweet. Thank you. And I have a sensitive question that I would like to ask, if that's okay. It involves mental illness. What does mental illness and other disorders, maybe like Asperger's or any mental illness at all, have to do with twin flames? Do twin flames tend to have mental illnesses, or do they tend to have experienced trauma during their lives where they end up in a situation where maybe their behaviors would be indicative of mental illness, and it has to do with their life path in some way?
It has to do with their life path, but it also has to do with their vibration.
Their vibration.
Yeah. For example, there's a woman that we work with not too far from where I live. I've observed her, and I cannot tell you how many people have come out of her mouth. And I could identify my aunt, I could Joe, I could so many people. And I said, she's on medication. She's diagnosed with borderline personality disorder. And I've actually challenged the Dr. Phil show and said, wait, before you go with the DSM-5, there's more to look into, because these people, and I've been married to two, but that were diagnosed with mental illness, they could also channel spirit. They could hear, my ex-husband could see them. And so can my children. So, and they're not mentally ill, they're very successful people. So as far as Asperger's, my stepson has that. He's a high functioning autistic. People are drawn to him. He's homeless. He loves being homeless. And people are drawn to him like moths to a flame.
Wow.
Because of energy. He's so high vibe. And but he's very analytical in his thinking. I am too, so I could be that way too, and I think we all are to a certain extent, because we are high vibe. Some of us are psychic. We have mediumship skills. Mine were squelched, so I'm still working on it, but I channel in a different way. Evidently, I don't even know I'm doing it. So,
you do channel. You do. You pull things out of my head and other people's heads, and the same vibration that you are emitting, you're attracting other mediums, which is,
yeah, and that's the universal law. You attract, and on a basic level, we attract what we think about, but right now we attract who we are.
right.
Yeah. And that's been mind-blowing.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Mental illness it exists, but it's also kind of a label. I don't know how you feel about it, but I think some of the labels that we give people can be a little bit not positive, if that makes sense. Yeah, puts it in a box, pigeonholes you in a...
Yeah. And upon observing a friend of mine, she actually, not only does her mind work differently, her body is different in chemical structure. She is 40. She's had 5 operations in the past 5 years, and they cannot fix her leg because, and I just looked at her, I said, did you ever think that you weren't human?
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
Wow.
And because her face is, I don't like saying alien at all, because we all come from different realms. We just don't
Right.
know, don't realize that. But her face is that shaped like actually like mine, it's a oval, but very sharp features, and her eyes are very blue. She's an indigo child, and she can pull thoughts right out of my head. She can tell you the future, and I call her the fifth element. But her body structure is not like your typical human. And I was told years ago that I did not evolve from the apes like most people do. And I was like, what does that mean? Because that's before I met Joe, before all of this has been happening. But yeah, we're just built differently.
And Dolores Cannon spoke a lot about that,
It,
and the extraterrestrials and the different realms. And for the viewers, I will link her videos down below so that you can reference Dolores Cannon's work. Some of the things that she says is a little out there for a lot of people. So you hear extraterrestrial, and I know that when I hear the word extraterrestrial, I'm thinking the gray aliens that I see in the movies, right? But
right.
what you're saying is they're already here.
They've been here. They've always been here. They're even in our government. Dr. Stephen Greer on speaks of them on YouTube. So I'm not the only one saying it, so nobody gets scared. But I would recommend looking into his videos, because he is coming out lately like wildfire. He was kept under, not told not to talk about it, and now he's talking about it. But to identify people like this, they're just people. They're just like you and me. They have high energy. They love people. You can feel their energy. It's loving, it's welcoming. And I've met quite a few just next door. And this
So
is,
they don't mean us any harm.
oh God, no. It's just the opposite. And this is why twins incarnated, and this is why ETs are now coming forward, because they need to. And Dolores Cannon wrote about that. There are certain people that will be ready to accept them, and they're a little bit at a time, like she said, spoon feed, and so that we're not scared, because that's what we need to rid ourselves of, is fear.
That makes sense. Well, thank you so much, Cynthia, for being here. And guys, thank you so much for tuning in. These videos would not be possible without you. If this video inspired you, please do consider clicking like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, because we would love to have you guys as a part of our YouTube community online. So I have posted a poll on my community section of YouTube. Let us know what kind of topics you would like us to discuss. Yeah, answer your questions here on air. So have a wonderful day. Thank you guys so much for joining. We'll see you soon, Cynthia. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.